Well, here we go. It's time to start a new TV show review. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek, and you are watching Kevin the Geek. And we are here to start our review of Torchwood. So, if you have been following my Doctor Who reviews, you know that, of course, Torchwood occurs around a similar sort of time, and it's got to be done. Now, you may be thinking, why is he starting Torchwood before the Season 2 finale of Doctor Who? Simple fact of the matter, Season 1 has no two-parter stories. Series 2 of Torchwood has no two-parter stories. And so, in order to kind of get them to sort of roughly tally up to how Doctor Who's going, this is why it's starting basically 2 weeks before I do the finale of Doctor Who. If you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. I have to give a humongous love to every single person on my channel, because as of today, the day I'm recording this, I have finally hit 100 subscribers. And like, when I started this channel back in August of last year, when I was doing some simple video game streaming, and then in November when I started doing actual video content, I never believed in my wildest dreams I would ever get to this point. So a humongous amount of love to every single one of you. The last sort of week and a bit has just sort of blown up the channel in terms of, you know, I'm going from around about, you know, sort of 10 to 20 views per video I do to in the ballpark of over 150 views per video. So an absolute humongous amount of love to every single one of you who have watched even a minute of my footage. So thank you so much. But today we are talking Torchwood. We're talking Season 1, Episode 1, Everything Changes. And I think this is a difficult episode really to give a really good kind of review on, because it's trying to set up so much. Now, it's not like Doctor Who, where there is some sort of pre-existing kind of world building that you have got, and people can come in and they kind of know who the Doctor is, what the general gist of. Here you've got nothing, apart from Captain Jack Harkness, played, of course, by John Barrowman. And straight off the bat, I think that Captain Jack felt different to how we have seen him in Doctor Who. Now, bearing in mind, at the time that this came out, the first season, we had basically seen Captain Jack in 5 episodes of Doctor Who. You saw him in the two-parter episode where he was introduced in World War II, then you had Boomtown, then you had the two-parter finale for Battling the Daleks. And he was always this kind of happy-go-lucky, friendly, flirty man with a little bit of kind of edge to him and action when required. Here, I don't quite think I quite was able to put my foot down where Jack was. You know, he had some elements of that sort of flirtiness and some elements of that action-y kind of stuff, but overall, yeah, he didn't quite feel the Captain Jack that I knew and loved from those 5 episodes in Doctor Who. Then, of course, you have to introduce really the main protagonist. Captain Jack is probably the biggest one, but then, of course, you have Gwen Cooper, played by Eve Miles. She featured in Series 1 of Doctor Who, the 3rd episode, with, you know, the Charles Dickens episode and the weird gas ghost things. She was the Victorian handmaiden. But here she does a little bit more, and you get to see a little bit more of her acting range, and she does an alright job. It's nothing amazing in this episode, because it's really setting everything up. You do get a good idea of what her kind of character is going to be like, particularly when you see her interactions with her fellow police officers, particularly with Andy. you can tell that they've got a really nice relationship between them, and they've clearly worked together for a number of years, to the point that, they're watching over this kind of murder that's taken place, and yet they're talking about going out for drinks with their friends. And I think that's really nice because it shows that in the job that they do, they have to disassociate themselves in any means necessary, and not to, in some regards, trivialize death, but they've kind of got to do it just enough that it doesn't overwhelm them and consume them emotionally. And that is a nice way of showing that. You also get to see Gwen's relationship with her boyfriend, Reese. And they've got a really nice relationship. They kind of look after each other. Even to the point when Gwen wakes up after being given the amnesia pill, Reese thinks that she's fallen asleep at the computer, having come home pissed the night before. And of course is very caring about it, brings her a cup of tea, and expressed genuine concern because he thought that she was going out on the piss, and yet having had a massive bump on the head when you saw that she was trying to stop this bar fight as her role as a police officer. Now, I think they do kind of try to play on that sort of doctor companion role here between Jack and Gwen. Jack effectively being the surrogate doctor in the series, and Gwen being the surrogate companion who's supposed to be, the audience surrogate, and the same way that a companion in Doctor Who would be that surrogate for, they're going to this alien planet and they're experiencing all these new things, and you kind of see the wonderment and you're kind of seeing it through the eyes of the companion. Here they try and do a similar kind of thing, but the problem is, for me, is they're trying to go to such extreme lengths that although you have this kind of simple template that kind of seems familiar for people who've been fans of Doctor Who, they also want to kind of steer really far and clear away from the family friendliness that Doctor Who is. And they want to make it very clear off the bat that this is an adult themed show. You see that with the amount of swearing that's used in the dialogue. There's lots of F-bombs, shits, bastards, all that kind of stuff. And probably the two biggest moments, you have Jack getting shot through the head, and you clearly see the bullet move right in the forehead. And then you, of course, have the murder, very grotesque murder and very bloody and gory murder of the hospital porter. And both of these kind of are designed to say, look, this ain't Doctor Who, this ain't for kids. This is going to another level. And it's, for me, I think it went a little bit too far in trying to make it, in your face going, yes, look, this is what we're doing. We're going all out for adults. And I think it just missed its mark just that a little bit, really. Now, you, of course, have to get introduced to all the other characters. And first off, they did an amazing job when it came to promoting the show, because all of the initial press release footage and photos and promo shoots and everything, they all featured Susie Costello, who is second in command here at Torchwood. And at the end of the episode, she shoots herself through the head. And that's probably another moment of the kind of gory adult nature stuff that they were trying to go for. So that really pulled a massive twist for this series, because you were expecting her to stick around and really be part of this core team because she's in all this promotional material, but no, she gets killed off. For the character that she was, for me in this one episode, there wasn't a huge amount of substance to her. But then also, in the same way, you didn't really have a lot with anyone else. You've got Yanto, you've got Toshiko, and you've got Owen. And I think they did just enough to give you a subtle taste of what those characters are going to be like. You have Toshiko, who's really the brainy boffin kind of one, who And she's trying to use all these alien artifacts to really try to kind of progress her work. So you get that little sense of her there. Owen is this playboy who really kind of goes out of his way. He's a bit of a drinker, a bit of a party animal, a bit of a sex pest to a certain degree. And I'm not going to lie, that thing does kind of still make me a little bit uncomfortable watching when he uses this alien aftershave, for lack of a better word, to effectively get this woman to go and take him home and have sex with him. And okay, it doesn't play out to that level because the boyfriend comes out and stops him, and he then has to use that to make the guy kiss him to basically diffuse the situation and free can get out there. But yeah, even when you think about it, in a nutshell, it's kind of in a way like using something like Hypno, a date rape drug. So yeah, that makes me really uncomfortable to watch that scene, I'm not gonna lie. And then Yanto, you don't really get to see a lot of him really. He's kind of to the side of this episode. So overall, the first impressions of the first episode of Torchwood, you can tell what it's going for. There's some elements of it that I'm not so keen on. Some of the bits that you can tell have potential. But I, overall, quite enjoyed this first episode of Torchwood. What did you think of Torchwood Series 1, Episode 1, Everything Changes? Drop a comment down below. And please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to join me tomorrow for my next Doctor Who review episode of Season 2, Fear Her. An episode that most people really don't like. And this episode kind of surprised me on a rewatch. But until next time, my name's Kevin, I'm a geek, and you've been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.